What's up, y'all? Jay Spruill, movies, music, sports, and life. You see, I got the great T'Challa still looking over my shoulder on top of my refrigerator. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Don't clown me for wearing shades inside the house, man. It's very, very, very hot. So I gotta go outside in a couple hours. So I'm just preparing myself now, man. I'm not good with 100 degrees every day, but you know, I guess you would rather deal with 100 degrees every day in the South than like in Saudi Arabia, Puerto Rico. You know, I don't think I could handle it there. But let's get into clips. To me, this is a very uneven series, man. They did 6 episodes, so this one I'm reviewing right now is the 6th and final one. And out of 6 episodes, I really only feel like 3 were really good. And by definition, that is average. That's mediocre. 50%. You could even make a case that's less than mediocre because in school, 50% is failing. You know, in school, you got to have at least 70%. So, I think probably the biggest thing that bothered me about episode 6 is they give V. Stiviano a very unsatisfying ending. Obviously, that's the sugar baby, the woman that was ride or die with Donald Sterling. But they had almost no interaction with Al Bundy, a.k.a. Ed O'Neill, a.k.a. Donald Sterling. They had like almost no interaction. So when you got V. Stiviano and all her conversations and her perspectives are from a groupie who kind of taught her how to be a groupie, and that's her best friend, and then a few interactions with Shelley Sterling, his wife, it defeats the purpose. V. Stiviano isn't that interesting on her own if she's not interacting with Donald Sterling. That seems like that should be a basic thing. With all due respect, y'all know I'm a teacher, so y'all know I love kids. But we don't care about V. Stiviano kids. We don't even know them. They focus on them a lot. Why are you focusing on something that we would never introduce to in real life? In real life, we know she had the crazy thing covering up her face and she was roller skating and acting silly. And we heard her voice on the tapes. We never knew nothing about her adopting kids, and why is she adopting kids instead of having kids anyway? So they spent a lot of time on her, and then she was meeting with her groupie best friend at a bar and kind of apologizing to her for disrespecting her. And then some white guys called them gold digger N-words. And they stood up like they was ready to fight and got crashed on. I had to use the old school elementary school slang. Crashed on. Like you know I'm 47 if you hear me say crashed on. That's not even I haven't heard that myself in 30 years. But yeah, she got rocked. She got punched trying to defend herself. And it's like that was almost like the second to the last image they showed of her. And it was just like, it was so unsatisfying. So the last image I'm going to see of V. Stiviano, she is the whole reason all this came about. If she didn't release those tapes, we never even find out that the man is racist. At least openly. And the last image you show me of her is her just getting punched in the face by some racist. It's just so whack. Um, One of the only saving graces for this show and this episode is Laurence Fishburne playing Doc Rivers. He brings more humanity and more personality to Doc Rivers than the real Doc Rivers, in my opinion. He just a good example. I never knew this in real life, but apparently him and LeVar Burton were good friends. And so it was so dope that instead of having somebody play LeVar Burton as his neighbor and friend, it's really LeVar Burton. And LeVar Burton was telling a story about how he has the chains of being Kunta Kinte in his room, like on a display, but then all his awards are above it. And he was basically talking about how he went from Kunta Kinte to Reading Rainbow to being the top alien slash ship captain on Star Trek The Next Generation. And he basically, as a black man, I was never allowed to get angry. And they just chilling in Fishburne's penthouse, and he's taking it in. So it was kind of cool to kind of know, okay, I'm a black man millionaire working in entertainment in LA. Who am I going to be friends with? And then it makes sense. I'm going to be friends with another black entertainer that makes millions that lives in LA. Because, if I lived in LA, what is Doc Rivers going to have in common with me? A special ed teacher. The things that I'm going to complain about, he's not going to be able to relate to. And the things that he would complain about to me, I couldn't relate to. But having a black actor in Hollywood, it's going to be a lot of similarities. It's going to be a lot of crossover in terms of their life experiences. So I thought that was real good. They focused a lot on Chris Paul, but the actor he was just wooden. He was just wooden. He isn't a very good actor. And I thought, if anything, it would have been smart, since he isn't that great of an actor. Maybe they could have played up more on the fact that a lot of Chris's teammates didn't like him. Particularly, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan couldn't stand him. And I think they kind of dropped the ball by not showing that. And my last criticism of this final episode, and then I will just close it out, because I'm just disappointed that it didn't end on a strong note. Al Bundy, a.k.a. Ed O'Neill, a.k.a. Donald Sterling, he did a real good job. I just feel like they did a poor job of how they used him. Like, they showed the interview was like, what has Magic Johnson done? Oh, he made love to all those women, and he's got those AIDS. Yeah, he got those AIDS from sleeping with all those women. So, yeah, that was a ridiculous thing, and that pretty much guaranteed that he wasn't going to be able to keep the team, that they were going to force him to sell. But they would do that, and then, I don't know, the way they wrote it, it just didn't impact you the same way. It didn't hit you in the gut. It didn't even make you angry. It just made you feel like this is just a silly dude who needs his team taken away. And I think maybe if they could have showed him saying, oh my God, that was so stupid. Like, did I really say that? If they could show some instances of him being human and actually regretting something every now and then, I think you could relate to the character more. But the fact that he would always do and say stuff like this and never care, it just kind of takes you out of caring anything about the character. So that was Hulu. That was clipped. This was not Wu-Tang and American Saga. I can tell you that. If you're going to try to take black people and put them in real life situations, yeah, Hulu, you didn't do a good job this time.